the walls. We're breaking free. Yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression. It's out for liberty. Breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts. We're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They're trying to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're claiming our land.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another Friday night edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is your gateway drug to liberty. Tonight, three strong female voices in the liberty movement take on one of the biggest questions in America today. Are women being... Is there a problem? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought somebody said what's going on. All right. So three of the strongest voices, female voices in the liberty movement today are taking on one of the biggest questions in America. Are women becoming more empowered or more controlled? Tonight's contestants challenge the growing influence of institutions, cultural pressure, and centralized systems over everyday life, and debate whether real independence is still possible in modern America. So get ready, because tonight you decide who is smarter than a politician. And we have all sorts of technical issues, and we're running late, so it's kind of goes with the flow. But
What happens when
welcome,
it's a show? I know what to tell you.
Welcome, everybody. And all right, so joining us again, one of the most special ladies in the liberty movement, Amity Dolby. She is a Catholic libertarian activist. You can find her on X at Amity Lee 13. You've been on the show 4 times before, but it's our first time that we've met. How are you tonight?
Yeah, right. I'm great, Free. How are you?
Doing really well. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure. I'm a pro-life and anti-war activist, and I'm available for speaking engagements and podcasts to discuss the consistent ethic of life. It's a belief that moral consistency dictates that human life bears inherent dignity from the womb to the tomb. You can also find me on X at Amity Lee 13, challenging, aka cyberbullying, politicians and sparking conversations about the benefit of decentralizing authority back to families, localities, and churches.
Awesome. And also joining us for maybe as many times as Amity, Amanda Griffiths. She's running for LP Vice Chair. If you're in Grand Rapids later this month, you can vote for her. She's also a first mover with LP Alliance, and you can find her on X at Ajax the Griff, and also LP Alliance is at LP_allies. How are you tonight, Amanda?
I'm doing great. So I always come out against something controversial and brave when I'm on Are You Smarter? I think I've come out against farmers, I've come out against parents, I've come out against milk. Tonight I'd like to come out against women, as a woman, as a strong female character. But I'm doing fantastic. Really happy to be here.
That's an interesting take. All right, let's see how that works out. Awesome. And joining us from her boudoir, the great Cassie Clark. She is the host of the Where the Dogwood Blooms show. That's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. She also has the accompanying website, wherethedogwoodblooms.com. And shockingly enough, you can find her on X at Dogwood Blooms. How are you tonight, Cassie?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Doing really well. Tell everybody what you're up to.
Not much. I mean, I'm just on social media, putting out podcasts, doing my thing. So,
Awesome. And we had a really fun time seeing you in North Carolina. You heckled me the whole show during the live show. Then we did a polar plunge. We had a great time. And I got to meet your family, who are awesome. And that was a lot of fun.
it was fun. My girls love you.
Oh, that's great. They're awesome. So had so much fun talking to them. Much cooler than the adults.
They always are.
Yeah, that's a true story. And joining us as always, because I'm the luckiest guy in the world, and I get to spend my night with 4 of the best ladies in the Liberty Movement. My producer, Terry Batts. How are you tonight, Terry?
I am stoked. You know how much I love Ladies of Liberty. I love it when the ladies come out and speak their mind. And I hope you guys do a great job of that. Matter of fact, I know you guys will do a great job of that tonight. So I'm just going to kind of kick back and listen and see what I can learn from some liberty-loving women. All right? That sound good to everybody?
Awesome.
All right.
Sounds really good. Thanks for putting this all together. And our Friday night shows are brought to you by Xano. Tired of surveillance coins dressed up as freedom tech? Xano's the real deal. Open source, enterprise-grade privacy, scalable and secure. Build, spend, and tokenize any asset without the peeping eyes. Xano isn't just private. It's none of their business. And if you're new to the space, visit intro.xano.org to learn how Xano gives you the power to own your own data, your money, and your assets, all in one simple, secure platform built for real-world freedom. And we appreciate them sponsoring the show tonight. And we also want to say thank you to our subscribers. We've got so many of them, too many to mention, but we really appreciate them supporting the show, paying our bills for doing the show and the travel we're doing. You guys are awesome. And if you want to subscribe to us on X, you can do so. And we also have a little added bonus for our subscribers. Next month, we're doing the subscriber showdown. So it'll be all subscribers. It's going to be a really fun time. But if you subscribe now, you will be eligible for the subscriber showdown. So feel free to do that. And if you want to sponsor the show, email studio@freedomuncut.com. And a couple live things that I want to talk about. We've got Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, July 8th through 11th. And that's the best freedom conference in the world. You can register at freedomfest.com. Use the discount code SPIKE100. We are part of the You Are the Power offering there. So use that code, get $100 off, and also support You Are the Power. And in August, we will be at the Midwest Peace and Liberty Festival, August 6th through 9th. That's in Lake Satoshi, Michigan. And you can register on their website, mplfest.org. And I've got one more if I could find it. There it is. This month, May 21st through 25th, we will be at the Libertarian National Convention. You can still register. There's time, lnc2026.com. We will be doing the show on the main stage Saturday night. Hope to see you all there. We have tons of friends going. It's going to be an absolute blast. So we hope everyone will be there as well. So let's jump into the chat really quick. Oh, the chat is fire. Probably yelling at me. Better late than pregnant. That's true. That's true. Here we go, Chris. Happy free day, buddy. That's a big howdy from Texas from William, another subscriber. Go Queen. Oh, I think that's a Cassie shout out from Tom there. Anarchist Chef, another subscriber's here. What's up? Travis. Yeah, here we go, Travis. Yeah, thank you. Darren's here. Disclaimer for all. I am a comedy writer. Things I say should be taken tongue in cheek. Yeah, I think that goes for a lot of us. So thick skins tonight, y'all. Daniel's here. What's up, buddy? Glad to have you here. Hey, Browner, what's up? Craig's got 1,000 million points for Terry. I think they're missing some commas or something. Marcus is here rooting for Amity. That's nice. Jake Day, another subscriber, and with the If by Whiskey podcast, 200 to Amity for the best bio, 200 to Amanda for her glasses. She doesn't need them to look smart. That's
Sadly,
true.
they're real now. It's lame.
CVD4R is here. Welcome. 10 to Cassie for the enthusiasm. I don't know if that was a slight or what that was, but 19 to Amanda for opposing women. That's going to be an interesting take. Gusta is here. Welcome. Scientific libertarians here, our buddy. 100 to Amanda for coming out against women as a woman.
That's what I
Yeah,
do.
that was an interesting thing. Valerie's here. What's up? Minus 100 to Amanda for coming out against women on Ladies' Night. Yeah. Jonathan Miller, another subscriber running for NC Senate's here. 100 points to anyone born south of the Mason-Dixon line. 200 if it was North Carolina. Hands. All right, we got.
South of the Mason-Dixon line, not
I'm not
North
sure.
Carolina.
I
North
think
Carolina,
was.
right here.
Not North Carolina though.
I was born south of 95th Street. Does that count?
Born
does
south
not.
in 1980.
200 to Amity. We need more ethic of life in this movement. Totally agree. 200 to Amity for her fight. I love this all-female episode, and I'm including free. I would be one ugly chick, that's for sure.
Wrong.
1 billion points to Terry for all that she does. True story. Subscribe now, and Darren Staley will give you access to all his data. That's all right. That's kind of funny. 100 to Ajax, screw women. 100 to free tax payment. 50% of my available posting points. Hashtag taxation is theft. That's true. Oh, it's Coco Slim. What's up, buddy? He drove us to the airport. He was very nice. Appreciate you, brother. Jim Bob's here. What's up, Jim Bob? 100 to all the ladies for making free feel good. I'm also a little self-conscious, to be completely honest. But and then 100 points to Cassie, the NC queen, because I said so. What's up, Brandon? All right. So it's flying already. So let's jump into it here. Welcome again, everybody, to Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Please share this out. Let everybody see these lovely ladies and their amazing takes on liberty. I am on X at Smarter Game Show. Terry is Bats T76. Amity's usually helping behind the scenes, but tonight she's in Maj's house, apparently. She's Amity Lee 13. Casey also helps out. He does the They Both Suck podcast semi-annually, and that's at American versus Gov. Our swag is at freedomsuperstore.com. You can get shirts and mugs. I am wearing the Make Anarchy Great Again shirt. Our shorts will be available on YouTube at Freedom Uncut. Check out the Larry Sharp, Shannon Joy Money Bomb we did. I also been posting some shorts that Terry made that are awesome. Support them as they run for governor and lieutenant governor of New York. They need them badly up there. All right, so the grand prize, since Trump ruined peace prizes, we made our own. We have the Are You Smarter Than a Peace Prize. Also on the prize shelf is Mike Johnson's signature cologne Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead Teddy Bear. We also have the home edition of Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Many libertarian bobbleheads. And if you need a mental midget to take a bath, this is the way to do it. The Strait of Hormuz bath set. You can find out how geopolitical shipping lanes work. Also, we have the Trump Uno cards. The twist here is the government always wins and you get all the cards. We also have billion dollar ballroom, the deep state playroom. It's a money pit with cost overruns. The budget explodes. There's no accountability, but it'll save people that are trying to eat lobster and do a correspondence dinner, apparently, because that's the thing. And we have the Southern Poverty Law Center hate group starter pack. If you want to get a grant from them to start your own hate group, this is the way to do it. We also have the Palantir build your own surveillance van play set. And of course, the Trump nativity set, because it's May and nobody will take this piece of crap off my hands. And the Killdozer, because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey do. Here are the rules. I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. The rules are they have one debate, one filibuster. They could veto, tariff, or redistribute an answer. Everybody starts off with negative 500 points because the government gets paid first. Here's how scoring works. The chat controls the score. You can give or take up to 100 points from contestants. And because I am the government and I believe in crony capitalism, subscribers can give or take up to 200 points because they pay me, so they matter more. Nuking a score. Any former contestant can nuke a score, taking it down by 1,000 points. The twist is a contestant can only be nuked once, and it has to be for a good reason.
I have a question about that. Like, did we enter into a non-proliferation agreement? Because the nukes used to be so much cooler.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think everybody kind of wimped out or something. I don't know what happened there. But we'll see. There's going to be some shots fired tonight. That's my prediction. So, all right. Terry controls the chat and the scoring. We will put her in the back, make her life extremely difficult. Thank you, Terry. All right. First question of the night is to Amity. Oh,
Nope, it's not.
Amity there. Maybe not. Amity, you lost your camera again.
I know it's this stupid.
It's just Amity's voice.
There.
She's looking at she's looking at the answers on the cards. What's happening? She just wants to
I'm gonna have to use my potato camera.
There she is. All right, on the potato camera. Amity, to you. Category is who really holds power. Do corporations now have more influence over daily life than elected officials?
Do corporate? Well, it's kind of one and the same. I think the corporations own the politicians, and so they make their decisions together based on who's giving the politicians money, and then that's the policies that get made.
Totally agree. All right, Cassie, to you. Are unelected bureaucracies quietly running the country regardless of elections?
Absolutely. Do I have to expand on that? I feel like just absolutely fits.
That's correct. That's correct. Please expand.
Please expand.
Yep.
Well, we have bureaucracies that are creating our zoning laws. We have bureaucracies that are our USDA. I mean, they're all everywhere, and they are really the ones who create the rules. We don't even get to vote for our officials to make those rules for us. So yes.
I totally agree. Now you know how the game is played. All right. Amanda, to you. Are women being empowered politically or politically managed?
We have the capacity to be empowered politically, but the problem is that we just stick with the current institutions that we have, which causes everyone to be politically managed. Why did I get the women's issues question on this show? I'm the last person you want to show this question to. I would say that we're all being politically managed. Women are partly in the way that people pander to women's issues, and ultimately, the only way to be empowered politically is to take power back and to dramatically alter our current institutions of government. Yeah.
All right. Cassie, if you can't hear, you might want to leave and come back in. So we're having all of the technical issues tonight. So
it hasn't been me so far. It's really cool. I'm very impressed.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, Amanda.
I'm very impressed with myself.
All right. Amity, back to you. The category is the future of free speech. Should offensive speech always remain legal?
Oh, absolutely. Oh gosh, am I glitching?
Start again. You're fine now, but start again.
The First Amendment's clear. I think all speech should be allowed. It's not the government that has the right to squelch our speech. There's a lot of laws right now, like even in Florida, where they're trying to pass laws against anti-Semitic speech, and it's ridiculous. We have the inherent right to say what we want to say. If somebody says something shitty, then other people have the right to react to that and either not do business with them or shun them, not be their friend, whatever. But the government has no right to tell us what we can and can't say.
Definitely agree. All right, let's see if we can get Cassie back here. Cassie, can you hear me?
I can.
Excellent. All right, let's try this. The question to you: has misinformation become a tool for controlling debate?
Absolutely. People will say misinformation and try to squash speech. That's all they're doing, right? It's not even that somebody is lying. It's that they're calling somebody's opinion misinformation.
Definitely agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Can free speech survive in a fully digital society?
It can. In fact, having a digital society makes it possible for us to engage in types of speech and engage on a level that we were never able to previously. The problem is when you have intervention in that digital community, whether that's from corporations, whether that's from government, whether that's from both of them in league with one another. So it can survive, but what that's going to take is it's going to take people resisting the restrictions that we're currently having imposed and the types of oversight that we're currently having imposed and saying, no, we want exit. We want the capacity to say what we're going to say and not be policed and monitored for it.
Definitely. All right. Amity, back to you. The category is the expanding surveillance state. Are women protected or monitored by modern policing tools?
They're definitely not protected. I think, even you say the police state is like, surveillance itself from the government at large, but even police officers can use it as a tool. They're higher on the spectrum of percentage of people who are perpetrators of domestic violence, and they can use those tools. As a matter of fact, I just read where the FBI, I didn't read, Thomas Massey said it on Tucker Carlson. The FBI is using FISA, or they're abusing FISA, to search women who come up on their dating apps before they swipe right or left. So I think women are definitely not protected by the surveillance state. I think men in power, or anyone in power really, can use it as an abuse, and women are more vulnerable.
Great point. I didn't know that. Cassie, to you. Is mass surveillance now a permanent part of American life?
At this point, I would say yes. I mean, you're on surveillance everywhere you go. It's in your car, it's on the streets, it's in the air, it's drones, it's everywhere. Unfortunately, I think that it is. I think that we should be fighting against it.
I agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Has surveillance technology outpaced constitutional protections?
Everything has outpaced constitutional protections. The Constitution's implementation has outpaced constitutional protections. Yeah, because anytime you can just find something that allows the government the capacity to do whatever, right? And we're seeing this right now. We're actually seeing the Supreme Court case where they're debating whether they should be able to confiscate everyone's phones in the area where a crime has been committed. It's outpaced the constitutional protections that we have, but those were never sufficient. They're only have teeth when people defend them. So this is something that we need to be working on together, is standing up for what we believe in and pushing back against all of these threats to what is, until we stand up for it, a piece of paper.
Definitely. All right. Amity, back to you. The category is war, peace, and American priorities. Does foreign intervention make Americans less safe at home?
Absolutely. The administration says we need to go to war to fight for our freedoms, to save us from a nuclear war, from Iran getting their hands on nuclear weapons, yada, yada. We've been hearing it for 40, 50 years. But the fact is, all it does is cause higher prices at home, more spending. It causes the people who are being bombed to hate us more. And that breeds terrorism that, when they become refugees and come to our shores, they definitely don't want to assimilate into American culture. They hate us, and that can breed terrorism.
Sure can. All right. Cassie, to you. Has war spending replaced investment in American communities?
Oh, without a doubt. When Hurricane Helene hit Western North Carolina, do you know how much money Biden sent to Ukraine? Billions of dollars. Billions, while people were out in the cold.
Definitely happens, for sure. Amanda, to you. Has America become too comfortable with endless foreign conflicts?
When you don't have any accountability to the people who are supposed, or for the people who are supposed to be the ones declaring war, yes, absolutely. We don't declare wars anymore. We institute targeted strikes, right? It's always the targeted strikes, because then Congress gets off scot-free, doesn't have to declare a war. So yeah, we've been comfortable with it because it's incredibly comfortable with our lawmakers to just co-sign an authorization of military force, leave me out of it. And that needs to stop.
It sure does. All right. Amity, back to you. The category is localism and agorism. Is buying local a political act?
A political act. I think localism is a good way to ignore the politics that are going on around us, in, federal, state, whatever. And buying local means that you're trading with your neighbor. I think it's better to have those parallel systems where we keep the government out of it, and just, buying local is definitely better than, free trade all around is good. But when you buy local, you're helping your neighbor and keeping things in your local community. And sure, as a political act, can I say that's a stupid question? Am I allowed to say that?
If you want to be kicked off the show, you can.
You can't get rid of me that easily.
That's true. That's a true
Okay,
story.
next question. Go on.
Cassie,
I
to you.
love this. She's doing my job. That's fantastic.
Cassie, should Americans build local economies outside corporate control?
Absolutely. I think that people should be investing in local farms, that we should be building mom and pop businesses, local restaurants. Not only is it a great way to help our economy, but it's also a phenomenal way to protect our culture.
Definitely agree. All right, Amanda, to you, even though you slighted me, you're still going to get a question.
Amity slighted you, dude.
Can people peacefully opt out of broken systems?
You know, like this show is a broken system, and I can't peacefully opt out. No, I'm confined here forever. Can people? Yes, but the problem is that it's never going to be called peaceful, right? If you are opting out of government institutions, if you're opting out of the state or trying to, it will be called violent every single time, because the state has the monopoly on declaring what is violence. That's part of the problem. People should be able to opt out peacefully, and can in theory, but not legally, right? There are always loopholes. There are always things that you have to do to stay part of this broken system. So part of that requires just saying, well, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to opt out. I'm going to fight for other people's right to opt out.
Definitely. All right. Enter your scores in the chat if you've not done so already. Share it out again if you're enjoying it. And let's jump in and see what is going on. I got points for the Southern Poverty Law Center hate kit. Yeah, that's a good one. Kyle's here. What's up, Kyle? 100 to Amanda's hair. I don't know if that she gets the points or the hair.
No, my hair gets the points. He's pretty specific. Yeah. Can I
might-
give myself points? There's a loophole. I can just.
That's not a loophole.
That's
You've
not
seen
part
the
of it.
show. All right, 100 to Amity for wearing fire. Yeah, she's got the Killdozer shirt on. There we go. That's also on the website.
I'm checking
What's
the
up, Katie? 67 to Amanda for coming out against women and then promoting non-proliferation. And Rob's running for LNC chair. If you're at the convention later this month, check him out. 100 to Amanda for cheerleading. 200 each for this round. 100 to Amity for me being her favorite libertarian. I think she's just putting you on there, Marcus.
I love you, Marcus.
Lou's here. What's up? 100 to Cassie for very clear, understanding topic. Very, very true. 100 to Cassie to expanding on her clear point. 200 to Amity for politician and corporate enmeshment. 100 to Cassie for the most ominous lighting. Yeah, she does look like
Just
she's
for
a
that.
lair of some sort.
That's
100 points to Amity. Corporations own the politicians. Does anyone know any corporations looking to buy a politician? Hit Jonathan up if you're a corporation that wants one. 100 to Amity for doing the bare minimum for the podcast.
Excuse me. It's Amanda, not Amity.
Sorry, I knew I was going to do that. It's coming like 25 more times. For doing the bare minimum for the podcast. She does have her Amanda Festo on the desk if you want to check it out. Yeah. 100 to Amity for having a grand piano. It's Maj's, by the way. Here we go. 100 to Amity for buying Maj's house. 200 to Amity for the quelch speech. 100 to Amity for saying shitty. 100 to Amity for free speech. 100 to Amity for doing her Stephen Hawking impression. Zach's here. What's up? I feel I left a like. Enjoy. Amity gets -10 because negative points win. That's not how that works, Zach. 100 to Amanda for upgrading the Bolshevik internet beyond carrier pigeons. 100 to Cassie for hating Roy Cooper. 200 to Amity, First Amendment rocker. Cassie gets 100, great explanation. 200 A, all speech is fine.
He calls me A because I call him R. That's me.
Does he? Is that you? Okay, we'll do that. 100 to Amanda there. 200 to Amanda, just LMTFA. 100 to Amanda for non-proliferation. Oh my God. 200 to Amity.
I love this so much. I love this show.
200 to Amity because I'm sure she will say something good by the time I get to Lexington.
Drive safe.
200 to Amity for the first Massey reference, one of many, I'm sure. 50 to Amity for reading a podcast. 100 to Cassie for her pillow collection. 100 to Cassie, let's fight. 200 to Amity for surveillance state. Points to Cassie, fight spying on us. Points to Cassie for fighting the surveillance state. Jake's here. What's up, Jake? Check out Tough Love Records. 100 to Cassie, destroy surveillance. 200 to Cassie, we need to fight against the surveillance state. Brandon's got a minus 100 to Amity for bringing up Massey. 200 to Cassie, she has the largest pillow wall, bigger than my pillow guy's largest pillow. 200 to Amity for the shirt because wearing cool shirts wins points. Winning points is completely acceptable. 100 to Cassie for mentioning Helene. 200 to Cassie for fighting for Western North Carolina. Points to Cassie, make them accountable for theft. Points to Amity for bringing up the fact that Ron Paul preached the same. Minus to Cassie for being wrong. Biden approved over $2 billion for Helene. He's a Democrat. You're going to get hurt by that. Stonks here. What's up? 100 to Cassie for reminding people about Helene. Points to Cassie for Western North Carolina. 100 to Amanda for wanting us to declare more wars.
That is how my haters will interpret that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
84 points on the dollar to Amanda. 200 to Amity. She had me at parallel systems, hashtag agorism. And 100 to Amanda for making Free say big words poorly. Is the way I do that. Yeah. All right, let's check out the scoreboard here. I don't think there's a big surprise here. Cassie in the lead, 28-60. Lots of friends in the chat. Oh, Amity's pissed. Look at Amity. Amity, 25-40. She's really not trying at this point. And Amanda,
I need my fifth win here.
24-62. All right, let's get back into it here. Amity, to you. The category is education beyond the system. Should parents control education funding instead of school districts?
Homeschool your kids. Do you want me to answer the question? Okay, if we must have funding publicly from the government, then yes, parents should control it. I think that our public school systems are failing ever since the Department of Education was instituted in 1979-80. Our scores have been going down and administrator salaries have been going up. Teacher salaries are stagnant. Testing is down. I think that if the funding that's used can go to the parents for either homeschooling or private schools, charter schools, then they can choose the education for their children. And yeah, that's definitely how it should work, but homeschool your kids.
All right. Cassie, to you. Is homeschooling unfairly stigmatized by institutions?
100%. Everybody wants to put some sort of limit or regulation on homeschool. It's absolutely ridiculous. I homeschooled my daughters. I should never have to turn over what I am doing with my own children to educate them to the government.
Totally
Amen.
Agree. Amanda, to you. Is there a trend of steering girls towards careers that have less demand?
No, there's actually not. I'm sorry, there's not. I mean, I think that a lot of times we self-select into the careers that we want. Ultimately, what we should be doing is taking advantage of the fact that we have a creator economy and be creating our own careers. So, and creating that demand for them. I haven't seen evidence that people are steering girls specifically into careers with less demand. I don't like anyone trying to dictate the careers that people want to choose, whether that's a high demand career or a low demand career. Why are you giving me these questions?
I don't know. I feel like you were a women's studies major at some point in your.
I was never a women's studies major. That's the meanest thing anyone said to me, and I've been called Leon Trotsky.
I'm going to add it to your bio slide before the end of the show. Women's studies major. All right. Amity, back to you. Category is parenting under government oversight. Are parents losing authority over how children are raised?
They are, but I think parents need to take back control and realize that the government has no say in how you raise your kids. Fuck the government all the way off. These are my kids. I'll raise them how I want. And, from schools to, everything in our society, the government wants to take control. And parents need to just take back that control and say, we're just not going to do that anymore.
Absolutely. All right, Cassie, to you. Has the government become too involved in family life?
100%. Look at DSS. Any form of child protective services oversteps their bounds, not just looking out for children, but interfering in families' lives. The education system does it. Now our healthcare system is doing it. Yeah.
Totally agree. Support You Are the Power. They're fighting against that. So great answer. Amanda, to you. Should families have more legal protection from state intervention?
They should. Generally speaking, we should all have more legal protection from state intervention, but we don't. Families are a subcategory of that. Families should be able to choose what they're doing with their children's education. Kids should actually be able to choose a lot more than typically they do. But yes, at every level, we need to be having more protection from state intervention.
Definitely agree. All right. Amity, back to you. Category is self-defense and public safety. Are women safer when they can legally defend themselves?
Can I just say how great these questions are? Yes, absolutely. Women are safer when they can defend themselves. When I go out alone, I carry. The government has no right to tell me I can't. Free women don't ask permission. And also, if a woman is vulnerable in a domestic violence situation, or, like I said, going out alone, they should be able to choose whatever weapon, tool, anything they want, whether it's learning some sort of karate or jujitsu or self-defense or carrying a gun. They should be able to do that without government oversight and without the government telling them they can't do that.
Definitely agree. Cassie, to you. Should constitutional carry be legal nationwide?
So this is a tough one. Yes, it should be 100%. We should be able to concealed carry anywhere it's guaranteed by the Second Amendment, right? However, I also believe in states' rights. So should it be up to the states? I feel like it's guaranteed in the Constitution. Yes, I think that, period, you should be allowed to carry in any way that you see fit.
Totally agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Has public safety become too dependent on government response times?
Generally speaking, yes. I'm not sure specifically what this is referring to, but yeah, if the only hope that you have of keeping yourself or your community safe is waiting for a government sponsored institution or government fund, taxpayer funded institution to take care of you, good luck. We need to be taking our safety and our defense into our own hands. By the way, I carry a 1919 Bola Mauser. It's very practical. It's a true story.
Oh my God. All right.
Nice.
Amity, to you. Category is crime, punishment, and personal freedom. Are too many Americans imprisoned for nonviolent offenses?
Ooh. Yes. Nonviolent offenses should not be crimes. Well, I say nonviolent. There's fraud and things like that, but that should be handled with restitution with the person who's the victim. I should rephrase that. Victimless crimes should not be crimes. We have so many people in our prisons who are there for using drugs. First of all, drug use should not be a criminal offense. We have more people in our prisons than I think by percentage any other country in the world. And it's because it's for profit. And, you know, the government puts money into these prisons, into their friends' pockets. By the way, Pam Bondi, our former head of the Department of Justice or Attorney General, she has ties to the prison industrial complex. So it's kind of, you know, shocking that she promotes red flag laws and things of that nature. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but to answer your question, I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, nonviolent offenses should be handled with restitution if it's a crime against someone with a victim. And if it's a victimless crime, then it should not be a crime at all.
I agree. All right, Cassie, to you. Do civil asset forfeiture laws violate basic rights?
Yes. So if you are taking property from someone over an offense, that is a violation of basic civil rights. Yes.
Or even just a charge in a lot of cases that
Yeah.
haven't even been found guilty. I agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Are women disproportionately harmed by family separation caused by incarceration?
Insofar as most incarcerated individuals tend to be men, I would be inclined to say yes, because, well, but then again, you would have the men that are also disproportionately harmed because they're the ones being separated from their families. So I think this is a joint suffering issue. I don't know if women are disproportionately harmed if generally this happens when a man is removed from the home, especially if it's not deserved. But the way that we deal with incarceration, the way that we deal with our prisons is itself horrendous. And there are so many things that we need to be doing instead to change it, starting with plea bargains, which shouldn't be happening to begin with. You get a right to a fair trial. Don't plead down to a lesser sentence. There are ways to fix this and not have so many people of any gender be harmed by this.
Definitely agree. I think it's like 99% of all federal cases get plea bargained.
It's
a crazy number. All right, Amity, to you. The category is technocratic governance. Should experts rule over voters?
So experts meaning people that are put in power in bureaucracies that are unelected? No, absolutely not. I think, we have tiers of governance that our elected officials allow, and it's the permanent class in DC, and it's made up with experts who are really just really high paid, government officials who live off taxpayer dollars, and try to make rules for the rest of us. And I think people should be able to just live their lives how they want to live them and not be lorded over by DC.
I agree. All right, Cassie, to you. Has trust the experts become a political weapon?
Without a doubt. Look at COVID, right? They pushed this vaccine. How many people have been vaccine injured? I was vaccine injured. As soon as I got the shot, I developed constant tachycardia. It's something I've been dealing with for several years. And what were we told? Trust the experts. I don't trust the experts. I don't think anybody should trust the experts. I think that experience will always win out over, a degree. That's my personal opinion.
Definitely agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Does technocracy treat people like problems to manage?
Rather than treating them as the masters and the directors of their own solutions. Absolutely. When you have faraway solutions, you're not able to localize them. You're not able to render them, effective on behalf of the individual. Technocratic governance essentially says, I know better because I am more removed from this issue, rather than giving the people the power to solve their own problems. Unfortunately, fewer people than ever, according to Pew, actually do believe that they are able to solve their own problems themselves. We have to change that. And the way that we change that starts with putting more power in people's hands on the local level when it comes to empowering local leaders, when it comes to providing resources for communities to find their own solutions. We need to get back to our faith in our ability to help ourselves.
All right. Enter your scores in the chat if you've not done so already. Please share this out again if you don't mind. The chat is fire right now. Minus 100 to Amity for wanting to win. Points to Cassie for winning from Tom. Points to Amity. Republicans can't stuff this ballot. No chat gerrymandering. Oh, that's a shout out there. Throw it out. 100 to Amity for parent control of education. Points to Amity for the homeschool plugs. Homeschool your kids. Killdozer shirt for the win. Points to Cassidy. That might
Cassidy? Where'd that D come
I think that
from?
was me. I have the Killdozer shirt.
I feel like that might have been, yeah. All right. Points to Cassie on the homeschooling answer. Points to Cassie on homeschooling. Points to Cassie, F school support. Phil Ryan's here. What's up, buddy? Another subscriber. Points to Amity for charter schools. If it must exist, let's decentralize it. 100%. Points to Cassie. The government has no business in your homeschooling. Points to Amanda for creating your own demand. Points to Amanda for questioning Free's judgment.
Always.
That's an easy one. Points to Amanda for her women's studies. That's where she decided she didn't like women. Points to Amanda for hating women's studies. Minus to Amanda for rambling. Points to Amanda for women choosing their own path. Points to Cassie for promoting homeschools. Minus 25 for not saying that the government funded private schools is not cool. 100 for denouncing women's studies degrees. That's to me. $2.74 to me for my microphone. Thanks, Waz. Points to Amity. These are my kids. 100% Amity. F the government. My kids, my way. Oh, that's Catalyst. What's up, Catalyst? 100 to Amanda for understanding supply and demand beyond gender nonsense. 200 to Amity. F the government. Government doesn't get to say how I raise my kids. Points to Amity for parental support. Points to Cassie. DSS overstepping. Points to Cassie for the confident answers, starting with 100%. Points to Cassie. Government involvement is too much. Points to Cassie. The government needs to leave families alone. Points to Amity. Karma points. She was too kind to me when I was on the show. Points to Amanda for kids having more self-autonomy and choice. Points to Amity for carrying. Minus to Amity for saying the questions were good. Yeah, that you're going to get hurt by that. Points to Amity because she has a heart for special needs people. I think he's talking about me. This round of questions is great. Thanks, Tom. Minus to Amanda for talking shit about women's studies degrees. Most men need help understanding women.
Women's studies ain't gonna help you, bro.
That's true.
Sorry. It's not gonna
That's
help.
true. Points or minus to Amity for rambling. Carrie always. 100 to Amity for productive self-defense no matter what. Points to Amity for self-defense advocacy for women. Points to Cassie. We should be able to conceal carry. It's a right. Points to Cassie. Carry always. Points to Cassie for natural rights shout out. Points to Cassie for mentioning carrying is a constitutional right. Points to Griff for the true story. Minus to Cassie, the Constitution has failed to protect rights, freedom over old paper. Points to Amanda for understanding when seconds count. The government is only minutes away. That was the point of my question. Thank you for picking that up. 100 to Amanda for the antique gun. Points to Amanda for defend yourself. Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. Police have no duty whatsoever to protect you. Points to Amanda for the empty shelves. Thank you for returning some of the books to the public library.
Mutually, bro.
Yeah. Points to Amity, no victim, no crime. Points to Amity for being honest about too many drug users in prison. Points to Amity for knowing I'm about to smoke weed. Points to Amanda, help fight crime by a gun. Points to Amanda, nice handgun choice. Points to Amity for no jailing for victimless crimes. Points to Cassie for interacting with losers in the chat. Points to Amity for forgetting what she was talking about. What's up, Anarcho Barbie? Just saw you in Colorado.
Hey, Barbie.
Amity got distracted by her own answer, but still pulled it off and came back and got points. Points to Cassie just because. Points to Cassie for government stealing. Points to Amity for not starting the fire in the fireplace while the chimney sweep is cleaning it. Points to Cassie. Points to Amity for bringing free around to the ideas of libertarianism. Points to Cassie for being the most sincere. Points to Amanda for plea bargaining, or as Free calls it, wanting to go golfing. Points to Cassie for denouncing asset forfeiture ridiculousness. Watch out, Rob Deerdeck. Points to Amity, live your life how you want to. Points to Cassie for not trusting the experts. Minus 100 for getting the jab. Points to Cassie, F the experts. Points to Cassie, trust the experts. Example from COVID jab. Sorry to hear you were injured. 100%. Points to Cassie, I was damaged by a forced and recalled Hep B jab. I didn't know that. Sorry, Jake. Points to Cassie for promoting common sense. 100 beats per minute to Cassie. 200 to Amanda for the excellent LPA shirt. That is a great shirt. Points to Amanda. Amen. We're able to solve our own problems, not the effing government. Points to Amanda for the glasses. Points to Cassie for the glory of the old North State. Points to Amity for flipping the bird to side. Yeah, I endorse that 100%. And points to Amity for the finger-free speech. That was a lot. Let's see what the scoreboard says. And Cassie still in the lead, 64-18. Amanda, 58-62. It's going to be a long night in my household with Amity at 57.
You said you're gonna rig it.
Yeah, I can't rig it.
He's never rigged it.
I can't even get stuff working here. All right, let's jump back into it. Amity, you got to bail yourself out and make my life easier here.
Come on, chat. I love you guys.
And this category is sponsored by our friends at Xano. We appreciate them. The category is the future of money. Are women especially vulnerable to inflation and economic instability?
I mean, everybody is really, but if you think about women who are single moms or, struggling as single people to try to, live their lives in this economy, it's hard. Gas is high, groceries are high, preschool is high. Everything is freaking expensive. And the average homeowner now is 40 years old. So if you think about young women and really young people in general, who are Gen Z and millennials who are just trying to survive. Yeah, I mean, it's really rough.
Yeah, wait till you try to build a ballroom. All right, Cassie, to you. Is physical cash being intentionally phased out?
Yeah, it definitely is. And during Hurricane Helene, that was a major issue. You had to have cash. I mean, there was no way that you could use a card. And yet you can go to places today where they don't accept cash. How insane is that? But yes, it is definitely intentionally being phased out.
Definitely. All right, Amanda, to you. Would a central bank digital currency, also known as a CBDC, increase government control?
Absolutely, it would. This is something that would allow the government to be able to track purchases, potentially revoke access to accounts and access or assets. Which, by the way, I feel like a tokenized asset right now. I have to say on the show, but it would empower the government to have even more say over what is becoming an increasingly valueless currency. Escape, go buy crypto.
Yep, by Zano if you want it to be private. Just saying, just saying. And all right, back to you, Amity.
Before you ask my question, somebody in the chat took points away for not mentioning single dads. I am totally sympathetic to single dads. The question was about women, so that's why I talked about single moms. Love you.
Still lost the points. It happens.
I know.
All right.
It's fine. Just
Amity,
saying.
to you, the category is cryptocurrency and financial sovereignty. Does cryptocurrency threaten centralized financial control?
Yes, and I think when we can move to parallel financial systems away from the government, it benefits us. But the government's trying to get their hands in Bitcoin, and they're trying to implement CBDCs where they cut off your bank account. They would cut off your bank account if you did something against the government. And so as much as we can avoid that and stay in cryptocurrencies that avoid government control, I think it's definitely better.
I agree. All right, Cassie, to you. Should Americans be free to use decentralized currencies?
Yes, I don't think that the government has the right to tell us how we have to pay, right? I mean, for years, people traded. I think that going back to that system may be a whole lot better than we've got now because of inflation.
Definitely agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Are women being left behind in emerging financial systems?
Everyone is being left behind. Well, I suppose not technically everyone. I think that there are people who do benefit, usually at the top. Actually, emerging financial systems and DeFi are an amazing opportunity for any marginalized community to be able to have a source of exit from the government financial system. You look at the fact that so many people are chronically underbanked, don't have access to credit. This allows folks like that, male, female, what have you, any kind of group to be able to access things they wouldn't ordinarily under our current institutions. So I am for this, absolutely. I don't think they're being left out. I think they have an amazing opportunity.
I agree. All right. Amity, to you, the category is economic independence in modern America. Is the middle class being economically squeezed out of existence?
Oh, for sure. I think with the inflation, how it is, and I mentioned previously that, the average age of first-time homeownership is now 40 years old. You have to make well into the six figures to even afford a home right now. People are struggling just to put gas in their cars. I just filled up on the way here. I was late, of course, because reasons, but $53 to fill up a 10-gallon tank. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous what the inflation has done to our economy. And either you're doing okay or you're seriously struggling. I don't think there's any middle ground right now.
Very true. All right, Cassie, to you. Has inflation made financial independence unrealistic for younger Americans?
Yes. The rising costs are creating our younger generation, just like Amity said, they can't buy homes. Buying a car is difficult for them. Building credit is difficult for them because inflation is so high. So 100%.
Definitely. All right, Amanda, to you. Are women increasingly being pushed towards dependence instead of independence?
You did this on purpose. I guarantee it. Are they being? Everyone is. This is a way that the government can try and divide people and try and make them more dependent on sources from afar, telling folks that they are disempowered, telling folks that only certain people have the solutions. Yes, women are being pushed more toward dependence, but so is everyone. And oftentimes this happens along identity politics lines.
Interesting. All right. Amity, to you, the category is taxes, inflation, and financial survival. Are rising costs making it harder for families to survive on one income?
Oh, sure. I mean, there is some personal responsibility. I think people need to stay out of debt. Although there was a news, who was it? It was somebody from the White House that was reporting the other day who was like, things are great. More people are spending on their credit cards than ever before. Like, that is so tone deaf. People are spending on their credit cards because they can't afford to pay cash for things. They have it to the end of the month. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, unless you're debt free, I don't see where there's many families who are surviving on one income without some help from their parents or, other sources, especially young people right now.
Definitely. All right, Cassie, to you. Has the cost of living become the biggest political issue in the country?
I would definitely say that it's one of them. Right now, you're talking about you go to the grocery store and you buy a couple of days worth of food and it's costing you almost $200. That's insane. You go to get gas and the price is through the roof. It's no matter where you go, you're being choked by high prices.
Absolutely everywhere. Amanda, to you. Is endless government spending destroying long-term economic stability?
Yes, and many other things in the process. This also pertains to inflation, right? So when the government continues to spend, when the government continues to borrow, that kicks the can down the road to younger and younger generations. Not only are we becoming less stable economically, but the government would be if not for the fact that it has the power to endlessly refund itself and redebit itself. So everyone loses except for the government when the government continues to spend.
Definitely. All right, Amity, to you. The category is medical freedom and bodily autonomy. Should adults control their own medical decisions?
Absolutely. We saw during COVID where the government was trying to mandate vaccines. Not vaccines, the jabs that they were mandating. And they do it with children. They try to, give vaccines the second that your child is born, things that really aren't necessary for babies. So, yeah, I mean, medical freedom is definitely something that we should have, and outside of government control. They shouldn't tell us what we can and can't put in our bodies. They shouldn't tell us what we should be shooting into our bodies. There should always be informed consent, and the patient and the doctor should decide what happens with someone's body.
I agree. All right, Cassie, to you. Has healthcare become too controlled by government and corporations?
Absolutely. I suffer from PTSD, and in the state of North Carolina, medical marijuana isn't available. Therefore, you have to take SSRIs or you have to take Xanax or something like that, both of them being more dangerous than medical marijuana. That's absolutely ridiculous. And no government entity should be able to tell me that I can't even try to take a medication for what's wrong with me.
Sounds very libertarian. All right, Amanda, to you. Does centralized healthcare reduce personal autonomy?
Anything centralized reduces personal autonomy. Centralized healthcare is particularly difficult because it is centralized on every level, right? It's centralized when it comes to what the government tells you can and can't do for your health, but it's also centralized when it comes to the deals that governments and a couple really large corporations make in terms of what can get to market, how quickly can it get to market, who can take these drugs, who can't. Centralized healthcare also pervades when it comes to rights to repair. This is something that Tom Queter works on when it comes to mobility independence. People want to be able to use their own and make their own mobility independence devices or purchase them on the open market. They can't because of the way that these products are regulated. Yeah, centralized regulation of healthcare and centralized decision-making hurts everyone because everyone has a different body. Everyone has different desires for what they would like to do with their bodies. So we should be in charge of that.
Definitely agree. All right. Enter your scores in the chat. If you've not done so already, please share this out again if you're having a good time. And let's jump into the chat. Minus points to Amity for expecting THR. Minus to Amity for wanting to be popular, very unlibertarian. Points to Amity, she needs more of them than me. Points to Amity for knowing the alphabet of generations. Oh, she's texting somebody. She's pissed. Look at this. Points to Cassie for calling it the way it is on Cash.
I'm reposting the stream
for single dads. That's true. Chris, you and I know that one for sure. Points to Amity for knowing the vulnerable and poor are hurt most by inflation. Points to Cassie for keeping it real on Cash. Minus to Cassie, fiat currency should be phased out. We need government out of our money. Points to Amanda for the massive dry erase board that is her desk. That's the Amanda Festo. Points to Amanda, who would have ever thought she would need pity points? Ooh.
This is a women's issues show. I am really drowning here. Like I'm not. Yeah.
Points to Amity for mentioning single dads. Points to Amity for avoiding government control over money. Oh, this is a lot of words. Points to Amanda on CBDCs. Canada arbitrarily shut off half the country's bank accounts overnight because of truck horns honking. Just imagine what they can do with electronic and tracking everything. Programmable money is terrible. I agree. Points to Amity. Hashtag Amity supports single dads on this game show too. Points to Cassie on barter. Points to Cassie, government out of our currency. Points to Amity just because. I take back my negative fiat currency. Points to Cassie, redeemed yourself with the trade and decentralized currency. Points to Amity. Points to Amanda for exiting by DeFi. Points to Amanda for having nuanced answers. Points to Amity for first-time home buyer stats. Points to Amity for home ownership, but have you tried a 700-year mortgage? Points to Amity.
I had one in 2001.
Yeah. Points to Amity for economic factoid. First-time home buyers, average age is over 40. Points to Amity for the lit fireplace. Points to Amity for seeing the K-shaped economy they are making. Points to Cassie for inflation, shout out, and the Fed. Points to Amanda, the government wants dependence. Points to Amanda for canning it, the government polarizing women. Points to Cassie for having a good grasp on all of this. Boomer laws and ridiculous financial legislation by Gen X politicians have screwed over younger generations. Points to Amanda. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm offended by that one. It's the boomers.
Same.
Points to Amanda. You did this on purpose, mansplaining.
Although have women done this? I don't know.
Points to Amanda for knowing that women's and all independence is designed to divide us. Points to Amanda for knowing the systems divide us by identity. Points to Amity for pro-Trump failing economy reporters being tone deaf. Points to Amity, you're dating free, not debt free. But it's probably both are bad.
Both.
Points to Cassie for answering the question with certainty. Points to Amity, it's intentional. Points to Cassie for being truthful and prudent about prices. Points to Amity, agreed that families can't live on one income if they are not debt free. Minus 16 every time somebody says absolutely. Points to Amanda, the monopoly on money has caused so much harm. Points to Amity. Points to Amity for medical freedom. Points to Cassie on healthcare. Allopathic medicine is all poison and profit. Points to Cassie. Points to Amity. Government mandated jabs, vax, shots, jumbo juices. I have 2 family members injured from this mandate. F the government. Points to Cassie. We own ourselves and our own medical decisions, including what they label as dangerous drugs. -1 to Cassie for sounding libertarian. Totally worth it. Points to Amanda. Centralization is always the problem. Points to Amanda. Everything centralized reduces autonomy. Points to Amanda. Centralized medical control is evil. Points to Amity. More karma points. Points to Cassie. Everyone's health needs are different. Oh, that's Dave Krantz, another subscriber. Appreciate you. Points to Amity just because. Oh, Anarcho Cat. Follow him. He's a great memer.
Love you, kitty cat.
Points to Amity because she's a good soul. And points to Cassidy for, or Cass.
No, you did it.
No, I did it. Yeah. Friend the Fed. All right, let's jump into the points here before I misread 10 more things.
Taxation stuff chat.
Little flip flop here. Interesting. Amanda in the lead, 88-82.
That's not real, guys.
87-17. And Amity and the White Sox are losing right now. It's going to be a really rough night for me.
Oh boy.
82-58. So let's do one more. All right.
Let's bring it home, guys.
Amity, to you. Category is consumer choice under pressure. Are Americans losing the ability to freely choose products and services?
I don't know. I mean, the government is controlling a lot of what's going on, but I think if we just try to stay local and fuck the government, just we should support our local small businesses and buy that way. But, there is a lot of government control over trade, and I think they need to stay up and let free trade work so that we can decide what we buy. And that'll bring prices down too.
Definitely. All right, Cassie, to you. Has corporate consolidation reduced real competition?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt, right? I mean, in the state of North Carolina, you have to get your electricity from a certain company. I'm sure it's that way in other states too. I mean, and you can find that with restaurants and all types of other businesses. It's insane. Yes.
I agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Should consumers be allowed to buy directly without excessive regulation?
Yes, decentralized markets are the way to go. Consumers should have a choice in what they are purchasing. And this is especially the case when it comes to these highly regulated markets. That's often the time that we just talked about healthcare. That's often the time that you need choice and individualization the most.
Definitely. All right. Amity, back to you. The category is decentralization versus centralized authority. Does centralized power always grow beyond its original limits?
I mean, yes. Have you seen DC lately? It's ridiculous. Centralized power shouldn't exist. I think we need to just ignore what's going on in DC and focus on local economies and helping our neighbors and fuck the government.
All right. Cassie, to you. Should states have more authority than federal departments?
Of course they should, right? I mean, our Constitution set our whole entire government up as we're supposed to have federalism. Our states are supposed to have all the powers that are not listed in the Constitution, but it doesn't work that way, right? So yes.
All right. Amanda, to you. Are women better served by local community solutions than national programs?
Because everyone is. I mean, the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because everyone is. When people are able to go to their own communities for help and for support, they are more empowered. The solutions are more tailored to them, and they have more of a say in the solutions that they actually choose. So yes, women have more. Women are more empowered by this. Everyone is more empowered by this. Local solutions tend to be the way to go, and then we can scale those local solutions toward national ends, but always keeping it distributed and decentralized.
I agree, and I like that I made you uncomfortable. All right. Amity, to you. The category is, can communities replace bureaucracy? Has government crowded out private charity?
Oh, totally. You know, individuals and churches, which are made up of individuals, are more charitable than the government. So the government steals from us, and then we have less to be charitable. So people who actually want to be charitable and help their favorite causes, help those who are less fortunate, whether it's in our own families, in our local communities, people who need a little help to get back on their feet. In my case, I like to help crisis pregnancy centers to so that women can have alternatives to abortion who feel like they just don't have a way out or a way to move forward with their lives when they find themselves in those situations. The government needs to stop freaking taxing us so much so that we have the opportunity to spend more on charity. Yeah, I mean, the government likes to say that they're doing all these good things for us. And really what's happening is the organizations, administrators are pocketing a lot of this money and it's not going towards the people who actually need the help.
That's definitely true. All right, Cassie, to you. Can local communities solve problems better than federal programs?
Yes. For those of you who aren't aware, I was very involved in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Up there, we saw West Virginians come in and clear roads. We saw, and this was done privately, we're talking about there were FEMA trailers sitting in parking lots that were desperately needed in Western North Carolina that somehow the federal government couldn't manage to get up there, but I bet you a hillbilly could have done it. So yeah.
I agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Should communities be allowed to build alternatives outside of state control?
Yes, but they shouldn't be the alternative. They should be the norm. Communities have the right to choose the way that they want to conduct themselves. They have the right to choose how they want to transact. They have the right, and individuals have these rights to contract into communities. So the only issue that I take with the question is that these should not be considered alternatives. They should be considered the norm, and communities should also mutually and voluntarily help one another.
Definitely true. All right, Amity, you. The category is the politics of human dignity. Can a society protect life without expanding state power?
Oh, sure. I mean, we talked about charities. I mean, the Catholic Church, before the government even had hospitals, schools, charities for women, whatever, they were helping those in need. We still do. And the government just gets in the way. They put regulations on charities. I think in North Carolina, there was Pastor Moses, who was housing homeless people in his church and feeding them. And the government stepped in and said, you can't do that, and kicked them out. And homeless people died because they didn't have a roof over their head that was being provided by a local pastor who was housing them and feeding them.
Yeah, that's a sad story for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Cassie, to you. Does endless war violate the same basic values politicians claim to defend?
Explain your question.
Well, that they are pretending that their values are human life, yet they wage war and kill people.
Yes, I would agree with that. You can't be anti-war and at the same time wage war. Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. All right. Amanda, to you. Should criminal justice focus more on restoration than revenge?
Anytime that you're focusing on revenge and punishment, you are not actually engaging in any kind of strategic deterrence. With restoration, you're targeting an actual issue. You're getting to the root of the problem. And that doesn't mean that people get off scot-free. What it means is that you look at what were the issues that actually caused this to happen or contributed to this, and then how do we restore the, or hopefully make better what things were before. Restoration should take priority. Revenge and punishment should never even come into the equation when it has to do with trying to build a better community.
I agree. All right. Amity, to you, the category is centralized identity systems. Should Americans fear national digital ID systems?
So, yes, but I mean, the government already has all the information. Like, everybody's kind of up in arms about it. And I agree. I mean, fuck the government, right? But they already have all our information through the Social Security system, through real IDs that we've all gotten so that we can fly. But they shouldn't be necessary. I mean, private industry should be able to do business with individuals without the national government dictating what kind of IDs we have. Airlines, for example. So,
Definitely. All right, Cassie, to you. Should access to money, travel, and healthcare depend on one system?
No. What if that system fails? Absolutely not. And let's be real. A lot of things that the government does, they fail. It's almost like they're designed to fail.
Yeah, like they profit off of it. All right, Amanda, to you. Are women and families safer or more trackable under digital ID?
They're certainly more trackable. I mean, that's part of what digital ID is about, right? Is it's being able to track people and identify their whereabouts. Oftentimes, again, this is how we see identity politics coming to the fore in getting people to make stupid decisions. You can easily say, oh, this is going to keep people safer. This is going to keep women safer. Ultimately, it puts them more at the mercy of the government, and it makes them less confident in their ability to defend themselves.
I feel like you accidentally got one of my women questions there. So
I was waiting for one the entire night. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Enter your scores in the chat if you've not done so already. Tell us what you thought of the show. Tell us who you thought won. Let's check out the chat one last time here. Love everybody in the chat. Appreciate you doing this. Pity points to Amity.
I've never had to get those before.
Tubbs here. He thought the points were like golf. He can't understand how he lost. Did you lose, though? You're in the intro enjoying the show. Points to Amanda just to cancel out Brandon's deduction. Points to Amity, support local and F the government. Points to Amity, F the government and local. Points to Cassie for her confidence combined with her southern drawl. Points to Cassie, corporate monopoly. Points to Amity for a clean house in the background. Yeah, that must not be real. Points to Amanda for decentralizing economies and the idea of what a whiteboard can be. Points to Amanda, decentralized choices. Points to Amity, ignore DC. Points to Amity, DC's ridiculous. 100 points to Kazman.
I think that's everyone.
That's
combined our names.
Sprinkling the infield there,
Clever.
yeah. Points to Amity, F the government. Points to Amity. Points to Cassie for state authority. Points to Cassie for states' rights. Points to Cassie for federalism. Points to Cassie for saying federalism. Points to Amity for F the government. Points to Amanda for cringing at Free's amazing questions. That's how I read that. Points to Amanda for localism. Points to Cassie for the 10th Amendment love. Points to Cassie for saying states should have more power than the feds. Minus 50 for not going further. Municipalities and lesser governments should have more power than the state government. Points to Amity, 100% help neighbors, F the government. Points to Cassie on state rights. Points to Amity, the government steals from us. Points to Cassie because I was getting a drink and missed a few questions, but I know she was right about it. Minus to Amanda for empowering women. Points to Amity, Kickstarter, all charity, or just a tithe. Points to Amity for plug for crisis pregnancy centers, 100%. Points to Amity for charity, community, and church, all better than anything the government ever does. Points to Amity, our dollars go further. Points to Amity for the government to stop effing taxing us. Points to Cassie for states' rights. Points to Cassie for spaces and Hurricane Helene work. Yeah, it was amazing work. Points to Amity for how help never actually goes to those who need it. Points to Cassie for hillbillies over FEMA. Points to Amanda for normalizing the cult facility I'm building. Points to Amity for going around the government to help those in need. Points to Amanda for making alternatives the norm. Points to Cassie for mentioning and being with the hillbillies. Points to Amanda on community rights. Points to Amity, love Pastor Moses. Points to Cassie for her work and eyewitness testimony of how horrible government response was after a catastrophe. Points to Cassie for stumping Free with a follow-up question. Points to Cassie, you can't be anti-war and at the same time wage war. But minus 13 for getting an easy war question. Points to Amanda, redefining restoration and how that is more effective than revenge or punishment. Points to Amanda, the science of revenge. Points to Cassie, can't be anti-war and wage war. Points to Amity for saying F the government. No more points for that. Points to Amity for the rock Hearthstone fireplace. Points to Cassie for being security-minded with her what if it fails attitude. Points to Cassie for government failure. Points to Cassie. Points to Amity for the win. Points to Cassie for sounding like a real libertarian. How dare you? Points to Amanda for safety first. Points to Amanda, those who violate others permanently should face immediate retribution. Everyone else should have rehab. Points to Amity, we were fighting national IDs decades ago. Glad the old Nolan charts are valid again. Points to Cassie, welcome to the Libertarian Party. Yeah, you're welcome. Points to all three for knowing issues, impressive women, extremely impressive women. Points to Amity for being the only brunette. Points to Amity, I never got pity points. Here's some anti-pity points. Points to Cassie for being the prettiest lady here. FYI, she's not a libertarian. She's smarter than that. Minus to Cassie for not being libertarian. Points to Amity for finding a great catchphrase with F the government. Now you know what you really get gets points. And points to Cassie for being the prettiest girl in the world. FYI, she's too smart to be a libertarian. That's not true. She's almost smart enough. It's happening. It's happening. So
Did you read that one twice?
I think he did.
It was written twice.
It was written twice. It was written twice.
Must be your husband.
It's inflation.
Terry likes to
That's sweet.
throw those at me. All right. Last check of the scoreboard here. And No change. The big win to Cassie, 12,100. Amanda just behind in second place, and Amity right on her tail in third place. Amity, it's going to be a rough night with the White Sox losing and you losing. What'd you think today?
Well, I'm a libertarian, so I'm used to losing, being in third place. But I had formidable opponents. Love Amanda and Cassie. They're great ladies. And I had fun. So, yeah. Thanks,
Plug what
chat.
you're up to.
Yeah, I'm on X, cyberbullying the government at Amity Lee 13. And I am available for speaking engagements and podcasts to discuss the consistent ethic of life, which is the moral consistency of protecting human dignity from the womb to the tomb.
All right. And you can find her on X at Amity Lee 13. Appreciate you doing this, Amity. I don't know when we'll see each other again, but it was nice seeing you. So, second place, Amanda, what'd you think?
I had fun, honestly, and I mean, I really loved, as you can tell, all of the women's issues questions. Those were so up my alley, and I just look forward to getting even more tokenized assets. No, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for tolerating me, and it was wonderful being on with Cassie and Amity.
And plug what you're up to.
I'm up to running for vice chair of the Libertarian National Committee, so please do come and vote for me at Grand Rapids for the Grand Rapids Revolution. We are also working on a member-based bylaw report, so let's get that heard. The members' bylaws deserve to be heard. Everyone's bylaws proposals deserve to get a hearing. And please do help get 100 Povertarians to Grand Rapids. These are delegates who would not otherwise have the financial means. LP Alliance is raising funds for them. So if you go to lpalliance.com, there's a place where you can donate. We are also holding a fundraiser chair debate on Wednesday night next week and a vice chair debate Thursday night of next week. Joe Jorgensen's going to be hosting the chair debate. Please do come. It's going to be a blast, and donate to ask a question.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
And you can follow Amanda on X. She is Ajax the Griff. Also follow LP Alliance at LP_allies. Appreciate you doing this. Can't wait to see you in Grand Rapids. That's going to be a great
It's going to be fun. It'll be really
Good
fun.
luck with everything you're working on. It's so important.
I hear Leon Trotsky is available for gigs, by the way, for Grand Rapids. Just to let you know.
Interesting. Cassie, you were the big winner tonight. What did you think?
I'm shocked. I didn't think that anybody who wasn't a real libertarian could win this. So thank you.
Well, you came out of the closet as a real libertarian now, so that'll work to your benefit.
I don't know that I would call myself a real libertarian. A liberty-minded conservative, a conservatarian. I think that would fit better. But I was honest. I was myself, and I won. So there you go.
Tell everybody what you're up to.
Yeah, so I'm always working to protect North Carolina's culture. I know that I irritate a lot of libertarians with some of my stances when it comes to North Carolina, but I got to tell y'all, you should get behind me. You should get behind your local culture, and here is why. Destroying it is a play directly out of the communist playbook. So you want to stand up against communism, get behind local culture.
I agree. And you can follow her on, I lost it now. Here we go. You can follow her on X at Dogwood Blooms. Check out her website, wherethedogwoodblooms.com, and check out her show and her spaces. You are amazing, Cassie. Appreciate you doing this. And let's get Terry back in here. Terry, what did you think tonight?
You can't be disappointed with liberty-minded women like this, no matter what anybody says. And this chat worked me to death tonight. So you guys did a great job of getting your friends and everybody to come in and join us. And I hope everybody had a great time and learned a lot. And that's about it. Great job, ladies. You guys were wonderful.
Thank you, Terry.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
And thank you again to our sponsor, Xano. Your privacy matters. Choose Xano, the leading blockchain platform that prioritizes confidentiality and security. And if you're new to the space, check out intro.xano.org Thank you again to all of our subscribers. You guys make this happen. You can subscribe to us on X and be part of the subscriber showdown. And if you want to sponsor the show, email studio@freedomuncut.com. And we'll be at the Libertarian National Convention in just under 2 weeks. You can register to be there, lnc2026.com. And we will also be at Freedom Fest in July 8th through 11th. Register at freedomfest.com with the discount code SPIKE100 to get $100 off. And then in August, we will be at the Midwest Peace and Liberty Festival, August 6th through 9th. You can join us there. And you can follow me and Terry on X. I am at Smarter Game Show. She is Bats T76. Our swag is on freedomsuperstore.com. And make sure you check out the shorts on YouTube at Freedom Uncut. The chat was live tonight. So many awesome people in there. Really appreciate you all. You can check us out again Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will see you all.